All right. What's up, you guys? It's your boy Walter Doom back for another episode of Let's Talk About Horror. And I'm with my boy right now that I've known for many years. Gang, gang, man. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on.
Yep. So yeah, my boy, he's gonna be like my guest, my first of one of my many friends, that I've known for so many years. And one of many guests that are gonna be coming on the show for this month. And he does have a podcast of his own. It's called At the Night Lift, or just the Night Lifts. I'm sorry, I'm talking in Instagram form.
It's all right. You can promote for me, bro.
Yep. So yeah, his podcast is The Night Lift. He talks about different topics and different experiences with different guests. I was a guest on there one time, if you guys remember, for those that follow my show religiously. This is my boy, Jacob, a.k.a. Jay Gucci. Welcome to the show, man.
Once again, bro, I appreciate you having me. I'm honored to be a guest on the show. I'm a big horror fan. I don't know, as far as, too many is, other than, the Alfred Hitchcocks, the classic kind of stuff. Fun fact, bro. I never told you this. My grandpa was in Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds.
Really?
Have you ever seen that original movie?
I actually watched it recently.
He was in that movie as a kid. There's a scene where they're out at a little birthday party.
Yeah.
He was one of the kids there. That's kind of funny.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the most craziest scene from that movie when I watched it. I was like, damn, how did they get all this to happen with those graphics and everything?
And that's kind of funny.
Insane.
Now that I think about it, I never really reflected on it till right now. But that's one of the things too that got me into horror. You know what I mean? And into that, because I remember sitting around, it was Christmas time, and we're opening presents, and somehow a story came out about my grandpa and my uncle, it's his brother, my great uncle, being in the movie together. So they were both in the movie together. They're both brothers. And because of that, I watched that movie, and that's kind of when I started. And I was young. I can't remember how old I was, but that's when I found Alfred Hitchcock and started watching those kind of movies. So that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you having me on. I can't wait to talk some horror.
But before we really get into talking about horror, let's talk about podcasting for a little bit.
Definitely.
What's up with the Night Lift, man? Why'd you get started with it?
The Night Lift. So the Night Lift podcast, I call it a podcast for the people. I'm a growing kind of a show right now. I've released 9 episodes. I just finished my first season. I'm about to start season number 2 this month in October. So stay tuned for that, everybody. I appreciate you guys if you did listen in when Walter Doom was on episode 4 or 6. That was right. No, I had you on 4. My fault. I had you on episode 4. So thanks to everybody who tuned into that. But I call it a podcast for the people because my show is mainly to be community driven. And what I mean by that is I'm asking for a lot of support. And by support from the audience, I don't mean monetary. What I mean is just literal participation in the show. So I want people to feel like this can be a place where they can ask questions and we'll answer. So it can be about anything. So if you follow me at the Night Lift podcast, we'll answer all your questions that you bring in through Instagram onto the show. You can send in voice messages. We air any kind of shout outs, anything like that. The point is that we're a podcast for the people, and it's a platform for not just myself, but for anybody who wants to be a part of it or wants to get their voice heard, to get that opportunity for that. So, my goal is for it to be, like I said, community driven. I'll put up, who my guest is going to be. My listeners, anybody who's interested on this subject specifically, can send in questions for that guest. That way, when I do record with that guest, I have questions from my audience. These are questions that the people want to hear. These aren't just stuff that I necessarily just came up with on the fly or something I tried to make the show interesting. It's stuff that I want people to hear. And in turn, that helps me engage with my audience.
Yeah, I really do like the fact that for your podcast, you get a lot of audience participation and just a lot of support. I really do like that. I really see everybody really taking the time and just asking questions and just really trying to be very engaging with what you're doing.
Yeah, I've been
Um,
fortunate to have a pretty good fan base so far, and I have a pretty good listenership coming in. I have my steady listeners. I haven't put anything out in the last month because, as I just mentioned, we dropped season one. Waiting, to finish up a few more episodes, and then we drop season two. Rebooting up the YouTube channel right now, so when season two drops, the season one videos are going to be out, and then so on and so forth, and just kind of expanding from there. So I gotten a couple like random surprise donations from people. Like I'm not asking people for money, but a couple people decided to just send me something anyways. Like, hey, you know, get a mic or get whatever you need, or do this or do that. It's like, I got most of what I need, but I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate all the
that's
love and support I've been getting from everybody. And the whole point again is just to engage with people and give everybody an opportunity to have a platform.
yeah. What would you say is the most difficult part of podcasting?
Oh man, difficult part of podcasting. I think
I
it's
know
gonna
you
vary.
asked me this question like when I was on your show,
Yeah, I think
but
it varies depending on who it is. Like, for instance, I'm sure you're probably in a similar boat as me, where you're the editor, the
Mhm.
director. How much work are you put in lately? Like, I know you put in a lot of work.
Oh man,
So
I put in like way too much work than I should because yeah, I'm pretty much the person that has to plan out the ideas. I'm coming up with topics, and whenever I have guests, I'm the one that's coming up with the questions too. I'm editor. I'm social media promoter. Marketing for myself.
you're everything. You're
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, yeah,
So
it's a
so I guess to answer the
one man
question, the
show.
most difficult part for me, yep, most difficult part for me is managing my personal life, managing my work life, and then managing my podcasting life all at
Yeah,
the same time. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's
Like
all time
I've made
management.
it really is, and I had to make sacrifices. And like, oh, I can't do this because of this, or I can't do that because of this. And I made a lot of sacrifices for the show, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like work. You know what I mean? But in the end, it is work, and
Yeah,
I still have my main job I got to focus on, and I needed to give myself a break because I was it was catching up to me to a point where um I was like rushing getting guests on and things like that. You know what I mean? And the quality isn't always as there. So I feel
yeah,
like I owe it to my listeners, and I owe it to myself more than anybody. I owe it to myself to provide a quality show, because this is something that I want to do. I didn't come up with this idea just for necessarily like. I mean, I guess you can say I did come up with it for shits and giggles. I can cuss on the show, right?
oh
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I cuss all the
so
damn time.
I mean, I didn't necessarily come up. I didn't necessarily come up with it for shits and giggles, but I did come up with a concept almost almost out of nowhere. I guess you can truly say I didn't really know my concept of the show until episode 2 or 3. Once
Okay.
I got to you, I knew where I wanted the show to go. But episode 3 is where I think I found my stride. Episode 2 is where I was like experimenting,
Okay.
and then it worked out for me. So like I built off of that a little bit. So episode 3 is where I got my layout in. So episode 1, literally how it worked was I was on a podcast maybe a year or two ago on a friend of mine, and that's when I found out about Anchor, and just in the back of my mind, it's like I always wanted to have a podcast. It'd be cool to have a podcast, but what would I talk about? Like I always thought I like sports, so yeah, let's have a sports podcast. But like, man, how many people out there have their own sports podcast? A hell of people have their own sports podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I
Way
mean?
too many.
Everybody has a sports podcast, so it's cool, but I wanted to be unique, and I wanted it to be something that I built and I came up with, and that was just like different. You know what I mean? um and I didn't want it to be like copying off of somebody else's show or anything like that. And I kind of just said, oh, I was going through my phone actually, and I was deleting apps, and I saw the Anchor app, and I kind of just told myself, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So I was like, you know what? I put my phone down, pulled out my computer, went to the Anchor.fm, got my start from there, and I went to a buddy's house. They were having a little kickback, and I think we watched some sports. I can't remember what we did. We are just chilling though, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole time I had my computer with me. So they started asking me like, "What are you doing, man?" I'm like, "I'm trying to come up with a podcast." And then I started getting ideas and a little bit of input. So I had like two different name kind of concepts, and I put them together. So I had I can't even remember what the first one was. It was the night, the something. Oh no, it was like the daily lift. It turned to, and then it turned to like something else. I can't remember what, and somehow I managed to. And then I thought to myself, or then it turned to like the weekly lift. I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to do a daily one. I'm not trying to put that on myself. So I'm not going to say daily lift. I
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to put weekly lift at the moment, but I wanted something just different. So I don't know how, but my buddy said it. He said it one time. He's like, "What about this?" I was like, "Oh shit, that's it. That's the one.
That's
That's the one.
nice.
That's the
That's
one."
nice. I like
I
that.
slapped something together. I use I use a program, slap together my logo that you see right here. Boom. And then that was a wrap. That's how I started. So episode 1, I just like, yo, sit down. We're gonna do it. Boom, record. That's how it happened.
That's cool. That's really dope. I really do like everything that you're doing with the podcast. It kind of reminds me, and I bet a lot of my listeners don't know this, but on Instagram, you do kind of like almost like a podcast esque live stream where you have like different people
Okay,
coming in
yeah.
as friends
Oh
and all
my
that.
goodness,
I've
man.
been on there a few times. We just talking about
I
life.
turned it to a little show for a while.
Yeah, yeah, it was
And I
entertaining,
think,
man.
and you know what? Honestly, I think that gave me a little bit, I think that gave me the confidence because when I first did it, I don't even remember why. I think I was kind of tipsy and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go live. And then like it got cracking,
And
like
that
people were,
usually is the case for everyone.
yeah. And then it started off like, fuck, I was tipsy every time. And it's like, damn, I started getting, it was tiring. I was getting too drunk. But it was just a lot of fun and people were joining in. So I was like, man, I need to make a show. So that was kind of part of it too. And that played a little bit into it. And I
Hey,
forgot about
one
that,
way to
man.
make your
Bring that
drinking
back.
fun, man. That's all I'm
And
saying.
yeah, season 2, I do plan to go live on the Nightlift show, and when I do go live with my guests, their shows are gonna be pre-recorded a little bit, but when I go live, I'll go with like the day it airs or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, man. Hey, at the Nightlift, everyone on Instagram and in Twitter. So yeah, make sure you
Yep.
guys follow him. So
Twitter at the Nightlift, Instagram at the Nightlift Podcast. Yep.
yep. Yeah, so continuing on with talking about podcasting, what would you say is your most favorite episodes? Because for me right
Oh
now,
man.
besides me, because I'm a bit of a narcissist. I'm
Oh yeah.
kidding.
That's cool. That's cool. You gotta do that, man.
Nah, I'm kidding. But I really do like the episode where you guys were talking about toxic relationships. And my last episode, I don't know if you listened to it, but it was about Midsummer and, me analyzing it with my two favorite collaborators, Dimey Horror and Megan's World. We were talking about Midsummer and just all the little nuances about what was going on in there. And just kind of like I was making more of the argument about why Christian shouldn't be viewed as like a negative character. And I'm still having
Yeah.
this argument with a lot of people to this day, but it's enjoyable for me,
He was
But
seduced, man. He was seduced. He was tricked. He was under some spell. It
he
wasn't
was
right.
tricked. He was
He wasn't
tricked
like
though.
normal seduced. He wasn't normal seduced. He was like
Mm-mm.
on some spell type, evil spell witchery type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, like when you guys were talking about toxic relationships, that was one of my other favorite episode. I would have to say is when you had your homeboy on there. That was the rapper. He was pretty cool to me. And when you had your girls on there, Lori and Bree, that was a really entertaining episode for me.
Yep.
Also, just to hear
It
like
was
the
an entertaining
women,
episode. That
some
is
of the
for
stuff
sure.
they were talking about. I mean, I'm like, I want to get into that, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
know
leave
what?
that one
I was like
alone.
thinking to myself, like, I think I said it. Yeah, I think I said on the show, like, I need to edit some of this stuff out. And then, like, when I was doing it, I was like, nah, you know what? It's raw. It's real. I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely real. I mean, I like some of the stuff that they were talking about as far as like, relationships of dealing with like different men and all that. And one thing Brie hit on, which is pretty kind of like personal to me, was when she talked about her relationship with that guy that she moved out to see and all that and be with. And it kind of reminded me about my own relationship that I was in with like another girl. that didn't really pan out that well because we were both living in two different countries really, but you know, it reminded me a lot about this is why I don't fuck with long distance relationships. You
They don't
know,
work. They don't work, man.
they for the most part, a lot of
It's
them
sad.
don't.
It's sad. I mean, in some cases, it shouldn't say it don't completely. In some cases, it do. But like,
Yeah,
if
it's not
I
worth
feel
it.
like in the cases where it does work, you have to have at least like seen the person before. You know what I mean? And like at least had some kind of physical interaction with this person before. If not, like how do you do that? You know?
Yeah, see, that's been always my argument about when I go into conversations about this. It's unless you have some type of physical connection with that person, it's not gonna work out because they could
Yep.
forget you just in an instant like that, just like that.
Yep.
You don't know their life like that. They
Yep.
don't know your life like that, and
Be careful who you meet on Tinder, folks.
yeah, for real. That's all it comes down to it. But trying to stay on topic, what's your favorite episode ever since you started your podcast?
Oh man, you know what? All my episodes are my favorite episodes, but I think I'm supposed to say that.
Oh man, I really have favorites of mine. So.
I think I have like a favorite moment from every episode. One episode that I think I really do like though is number 3, and was with my friend Richie, who we talked about like gang violence, surviving gangs, and you know what kind of happened to him. So that was a crazy story, and that was a real one. I got a lot of feedback from people on that one. Obviously, the episode that I got the most views from and the most participation was with Lori and Bree, episode 7.
Oh, I
they
wouldn't be
had
surprised.
yeah, and then they shared it along their medias, and you know they got followers, so it kind of blew up a little bit, and they actually they blew that episode up. But
That's
so shout
good.
out to them for that. Appreciate that.
I would have to say the girls because the same thing with my girls that I collaborate, they really promote the shit out of everything that we do, and I like that because it's I feel like it's very encouraging, and it also kind of helps everyone out in the long run as far as building up what they're trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
not surprised that they kind of blew up from that, because even I was these are some very interesting stories, even though I see them on the live streams all the time.
I was just saying that they did blow the show up, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it took 2.5 days for them to break my weekly record. You know what I mean? So I can't remember what the exact number was. I think my record was 70 something in 1 week for a single episode, and they broke that in 2 days. And so I was like, God damn, this one's blowing up. After my traditionally, I was getting after the first 2 days per episode, I think I was getting 30 to 40. So I'll get my first half of listeners right there. But
yeah,
there's doubled, bro. There's doubled. And then, I got not a whole lot, but I got a good amount of followers from them too. So yeah, but I guess they're all my favorite, bro. I had a good time with every single one of my guests. It was great having you on there. We had a good conversation too. That was
yeah, man. We got to run that back though, because we was both kind of hungover.
It was fun though, man. That's kind of what we're doing right now, We're running it back just on your platform and stuff.
Yeah. But not as hungover. Oh man. But how are you doing with COVID, man? How are you doing with this pandemic right now? Just to switch gears a bit.
Yeah, it's a topic that everybody's going through right now, or something that everybody's going through. So it's a topic that everybody can relate to. But I think just kind of like everybody, we're all just kind of hanging in there at the moment. What else can we do? We all hanging in there. Everybody's going through it. I mean, hopefully you're situated enough where you can take care of your bills and all that, and you got yourself situated. But I know there's a lot of people that are doing a lot worse than me right now, so I ain't doing bad, man. I'm working from home. Other than just being stuck at home, I can't complain, bro. I got my health, and everybody around me is healthy right now. Everybody's good, so there are little mishaps here and there, but that's life, bro. That's what happens. The only thing you can do is keep pushing. That's it. So
Yeah.
I'm doing good, bro. It's just working from home.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Yeah. Are you dealing with like, well, not dealing with, but have the theaters open up where you're at too?
They're not open, bro. They're not
Okay,
open.
yeah, because
They're a
I
little
know.
more reckless in LA, bro. They're a little more reckless down there, my guy.
I don't know, man, because they kind of
Mm-hmm.
scary over here.
Yeah, I know they got things going on. It's still popping out there in some areas. My friend was just out there. She sent me a video. She's like, "Why is this beach fucking cracking?" It's like, that's LA.
Hey,
That's
no one
LA.
wants to be home. That's why.
No one wants to be home on a hot weekend.
Like I feel like
Especially when you
right
got
now.
AC in your house, you got to get out.
Oh yeah, and I'm one of them. I don't have AC, so
Mhm.
I'm over here roasting. But yeah, with LA, man, we're just like fucking Florida. We don't want to be in the house, you know.
It's too
Like,
hot though. You can't blame them, bro. It's too hot. Y'all can't stay in the house that long.
nah, and it's crazy because it's like we were good for like maybe the first, I want to say month or 2 months at most. I give us, but then everybody was like, "Man, fuck this quarantine shit. I'm going out." I swear,
Uh,
like lately, whenever I go out the house, I'm seeing more and more people out, and I'm just like, I could have sworn we're in a pandemic right now, you know? And it's so weird because I'm seeing like all these people out, but all these places that are closed. It's like I don't even know how that shit correlates, man. You
yeah,
know?
crazy.
Yeah, but I feel you, man. I mean, I'm still pushing just like you, man. I mean, I'm actually physically at work, but it's whatever. Things is like it could be better.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, it's crazy because I think a lot of people are finding out right now that you can do your jobs from home.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and a lot of people, for instance, I know somebody who's who's related to somebody who works at some office where, they had this huge office,
Mhm.
expensive office that they pay for or whatever, and they realize that they can be just as efficient from their homes as long as everybody gets their work done.
Yeah.
So now they're talking about maybe even just staying home for doing their jobs, period, and not and say the expense of having to rent the office. If everybody can do their work from home and they can finance people's needs for their home needs or their home office, and they'll do that. It'll be cheaper for them, I guess. But so a lot of businesses are kind of doing that too. Surprisingly,
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
I feel like that's literally the next movement in society. I mean, this pandemic is
Mhm.
really like changing a lot of things that were just normal, you know? And I'm not surprised that it is like changing people in how they view going to work. For those that are able to actually work from home, you get me? But I had
Mhm.
something else in my head that I'm totally like forgetting right now. It had to deal with like working from home, something else. I can't remember it. But yeah,
It happens, bro.
yeah. But I'm not surprised that everything is pretty much changing. I mean, it's like, what were you expecting? Like, but you know what? Oh,
Yeah.
I remember now. Even though working from home is working out, I feel like school at home is not working out. And the reason why I say that because of the job we're
Yeah.
in, right now it's not working for them. Like kids just are not learning shit online from anything. Nothing from their teachers, nothing from that homework that they're getting. Like all that shit is just going one ear out the other. And it's sad,
Yeah.
honestly, because
Yeah. I think there's just too much distraction at home, and not necessarily like that. Like there's people around distracting them, but just the
mhm,
fact that they're at home, and like even working from home, like I've noticed it's easier to just get up and just start working in your pajamas and your hair messed up and not even care. Before I had to get up early, get myself prepped. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Take a shower, do my hair, do it. Get to work, get up on time. This that. You had your whole routine. Now
Mm-hmm.
everyone's just kind of out of that whole routine and just more like, well, I'm kicking back at home anyways. I'll just stay in my sweats and post all day and whatever. You know what I mean? And and it's comfy, but some people are getting a little comfortable with it. And that includes kids.
Yeah.
We all went so long with no school. You know, after that, schools closed. They weren't doing much. You know what I mean? So it was hard right after the first few months, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think any of us expected to still be in this pandemic to this day. It started in March, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
In
for
March,
me,
and we
I
over
feel
here about pushing October. Like Halloween's already canceled on here. Like, damn, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we haven't even hit October, and you're already canceling Halloween on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then I'm hearing, what was it, like Biden said something last night that, like, if everybody wore masks consistently, then we'd be ready to open up by 2021. It's like, damn, that means if we perfect for the year, Lord
That's
knows
too much
we
to
as
ask.
human beings, we as human beings are not perfect.
No.
You know, there's no way. There's no, like, that means we're gonna be here for a while, bro.
Yeah.
Don't be
Yeah.
surprised if we're doing this almost to next summer. I
Hey,
wouldn't be surprised.
I'm already like have my mindset that we're gonna be in this for like the next 2 or 3 years.
Dang.
Honestly, after
Oh
like
no.
after this year, I feel like there's gonna be like 1 or 2 more years of this shit, but where things are kind of like slowly but surely opening up, at like limited capacity,
Yeah.
But it's the world we live in. But that that oh my god, COVID sucks.
It
COVID
does.
sucks.
That's for sure.
COVID sucks. But we're gonna go ahead, segue. We got my boy Jay Gucci on here on at the night lift. I wish I had some drops, but I don't. So we're gonna go ahead and start talking about original movies versus remakes because I thought this would be an interesting topic. I saw your list of like movies that you've actually seen before. Some very interesting movies. I
I'm
want
gonna
to
look at that
say,
list again
yeah,
because I sent you a good amount of movies, and I know, like, I missed some key ones. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
I already be knowing I did.
yeah. But a lot of the movies that you sent, I noticed like some of them they do have remakes in them, or some of them do have remakes. So here's my thing. Maybe um, if you have like a movie that you like that has like a remake or like original or a remake. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
can
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, can you tell me right now what are some of your favorites that are originals?
Are you asking my favorite originals?
Yeah, yeah, your favorite originals
Okay. Um.
that has a remake attached to them.
Before we started this show, you were telling me about a potential remake of one of my old school favorites
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
scared,
Go.
that
Let's go ahead and
traumatized
get into
me.
that. Let's go ahead and get
Yeah.
into that one because
The
a lot of
the
people
uh,
don't know it.
the original Exorcist is not a movie I recommend because it traumatized the hell out of me when I was a kid. Like, I had nightmares forever, and like, I was
What was
after that.
traumatizing about it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I was in fourth grade when I watched it, and
uh,
I was hanging out with um my dad was like dating somebody at the time, and I got left with I stayed with her kids because she had a couple kids and they were a little bit older than me. They wanted to watch it, and they were making it like spooky, you know what I mean? And I'm a kid, and I had never seen it, so I was scared, you know what I mean? They're trying to scare me with it too, and I was hella scared. I was a kid,
yeah, yeah,
and
that's understandable.
and I didn't necessarily like get bullied, nothing like that, into watching it, but like, they definitely knew they were trying to scare me with it, and
Yeah,
but it was cool, it was funny, and but I was scared after that, so I heard they're making a remake of that one, so that's a classic, bro. Believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when
Would you?
I have re-seen clips of it, and like I'm not gonna tell you I sat and watched the full movie because I still say hell no. But but I have sat through it and be like, damn, this is what scared me. I still ain't gonna watch it, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I laugh at myself about it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say that movie is untouchable? Like they cannot absolutely make a remake. They could make sequels, but they cannot
Let me
make.
tell you this. Let me tell you this. I'm gonna say it is you can't remake that movie, but not because it was such a great movie or it's such a classic or anything like that. But think about this, bro. Like when they were making that movie, didn't a lot of shit happen to people?
Oh yeah, yeah. That
You know
movie
what I mean?
was
Like,
cursed. It was a
why
cursed
would you
set.
want to mess with that again? Dude, like, did people not learn the first time? They think it's a game, man. And that's the thing. Like, I want to get into this, and I know that you kind of told me a little bit. We talk about real life experiences. Like, I feel like what I'm more into are like those
Hmm.
real life experience type stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I'm more into those type of movies versus just like, slasher killer type of movies.
yeah.
Um,
The ones that I like.
yeah, I like the ones with getting their body parts chopped off and stuff like that. Where I like kind of more like poltergeisty type stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So another one I liked is, and I've actually never seen the original though, but I have seen one of the many remakes of the Amityville Horror.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um I'm trying to think. I can't even remember what year it was. It was probably 2000 to 2004 ish. Maybe nah, actually, it was probably a little bit before that even. But there was an original Amityville horror movie came out, and then how many have came out since? There's like two or three of them, right?
It's a lot. It's a lot, and then there's a lot of offshoot Amityville movies that came out.
Yeah, yeah. This one I think was supposed to be the remake of the original, like one of the first remakes of the original.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one I saw in theaters when I was a kid, and that one was creepy. But
What about Child's Play? Did you watch the
oh
remake
my
of Child's Play?
yeah, man, they're crazy, bro. They're crazy, man.
Did you like
I
the
don't know
remake
what
of
to think of
Child's
those
Play?
movies. I don't know what to think of those movies anymore. Like the first originals they're cool. They're fun to watch now. Like now when I watch them, I feel like I feel like I'm almost watching a comedy in a way. Like you know what I mean? Like it's so funny. Like Chucky's about to stab the shit out of this person. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's funny
Make me
because
laugh when it happens. You know what I mean? I don't know what to think about those movies anymore. I feel like they try to milk them too. You know what I
they
mean?
do.
Honestly, they try to milk Chucky.
Well, now they're coming out with a TV show
They
for
came
it.
out with so many. Exactly my point. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what to think of those. The originals are dope. The originals are dope. They're classics. They
Did you
forever
watch
will
the
be.
Did you watch
Um,
the remake?
no, I didn't watch the remake, man. Because again, like I told you, I I'm just kind of like whatever about the child plays now. Like the originals are cool, like I said, but the remakes they just don't interest me as much. Probably because I have seen, some of the other ones that they came out with, and it's just kind of whatever to me now. But no, I didn't see the remakes.
Yeah, the remake, I feel like it's very split because I'm one of those people that actually like the remake, but everyone else that I've talked to that's seen it, they absolutely hate that remake. Like, but I'm like,
I don't know.
but it's
I was
pretty
just thinking like
dope.
I'm gonna check it out there. I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out for you just see because I know people that are like really big Chucky fans, and
Yeah.
they kind of say the same thing, but that's because I'm just like, yeah, but you like anything Chucky, so um I don't I didn't necessarily take that person's opinion to heart when they said, oh yeah, it's a good one. I just figured, yeah, they're a Chucky fan. Of course they're gonna say it's a good one. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um but I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out.
All right, for sure. Now, since we're talking about Chucky, I didn't throw this question in there, but out of the big four horsemen, so the horsemen are like Chucky, Jason,
Ready?
Freddy, and Michael.
Yeah.
Who do you prefer?
Michael. That's my dog. That's my
Michael.
dog.
All right, all right. I give you that. Why Michael, man?
I don't know, man. I just like that he can just stand there and walk at you and still catch you no matter what.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? You'll be running, he'll just be walking. He'll still catch you though.
Yeah,
You know what I
seriously.
mean? But look, I don't know, man. I don't know why the Michael Myers movies were always and I did see the remake to that one. And then I think didn't they aren't they coming out with did I hear they're
Yeah,
coming out
they're
with the
they're
new
coming
one?
out with sequels. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
actually they're rebooting it. So yeah.
yeah. There was a which one? Oh my god, what is her name? Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
Her that I think that was the most one of the most recent ones I rewatched again. Um, she killed Michael, and then he comes back, and she's like, "I killed you," and it's going, and they're doing the whole thing again. So it's like, you know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
he dies in almost every. Well, I mean, they
You know,
think they killed him in every film, but this dude doesn't die.
exactly, and that's why I like him. Like, how the hell does he always come back? I don't know, but he's fucking awesome.
Seriously, and then he always seemed to catch people whenever he's just walking.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know what it is about him. I just think he's cool.
Yeah, for me, it used to be Jason, but then I discovered Freddy Krueger, man, and
You know
ever
what?
since
Freddy's pretty dope, though.
Freddy is pretty dope. I mean, the guy is funny as hell. The guy has punchlines,
Yeah,
and he kills you in the most gruesome way in your sleep
I
as
was about
much
to
as
say
possible.
that's a crazy way. Like how I would remember watching one and I was thinking, like, damn, if I was in that situation, how do you escape that? Like in your sleep, you can't stay awake forever. You know what
No,
I mean?
you
Like,
you can't. You can't.
yeah. So like, God, I remember watching like, oh, I would hate if that was real.
Well, apparently it was based off of like this little I forgot where they were at. I want to say Indian, but it wasn't Indian, but it was based on like this little island and what have you, this little community, and people were actually dying in their sleep. But it wasn't from necessarily like some demon monster, but it was like from other factors, like they were like getting sleep paralysis that was actually killing them and everything. Like they were having nightmares. That was just
Oh
really
man,
like
you
horrific.
know what they say about sleep paralysis though, bro? Do you?
What's that?
I don't know, man. But a lot of people have different ideas about sleep paralysis. A lot of people like to be scientific about it. A lot of people like to be spiritual about it.
Mm,
What do you prefer? What method you want me to give you? You know what I mean?
I mean,
If I'm gonna give you,
I
if
mean,
I'm gonna
what?
give you spiritual,
I mean, what do you
all right,
think?
check this out. So
Spiritually.
maybe I should say this about maybe I should say this about my background before I continue on because
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of what I'm
yeah.
gonna
Go
say will
ahead, go ahead. It
make
is
more
kind of jumping
sense.
ahead. It is kind of jumping
It
ahead,
will
but go
make more
ahead.
sense to people. But so my family, it's crazy. I got like on one side of my family, I have people who are psychic. You know what I mean? And they kind of like for instance, my mom is one of them, but she doesn't practice and she kind of suppressed those things because it scared her when she was young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My aunt practices it pretty religiously and like reads and does all these kind of stuff on people and I let her do it to me one time only, and it took her forever to convince me because I was just like, nah. I was raised on my other side of the family, who's very religious, Christian religious.
Hmm.
But check this out. Here's the thing, man, and I think I heard this on like a Conjuring movie or something, and I've heard this before from my grandma. Do
Okay.
you believe in God?
Uh,
Do you believe in God?
I don't think we
Okay,
want to
okay.
talk
Well,
about
check
my
this out. Check this
my
out.
thing.
Check this out. Check this out. Maybe I shouldn't ask you directly, but
Yeah,
here's the thing: if you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil,
yeah, which is true. You do.
right? So, if you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. So, who's to say, that there's demons really ain't out there, and it has to do with sleep paralysis? One thing is that they say that a lot of times people feel, because you can't move and shit,
Hmm.
and you feel like pressure on you. People say a lot of times if you have stuff going on, that could be a demon, and it's doing something. It's holding
Mm.
you down. So my grandma from my dad's side, they're very religious. My grandpa was a pastor. Um, they're very well known. They're both passed on now, but they're both very well known within their community, and they used to perform exorcisms. So
Mm.
he would tell me stories about like performing exorcism on little girls and teenagers and women and just like and it's crazy stuff that she would tell me. So it's crazy. It's like, you don't want to believe in monsters, but I don't know, and you don't, and a lot of people don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah,
And you know what?
see,
I'm skeptical because like I've never seen a ghost. I've never had like I've had weird experiences, and you know what? We'll probably talk about them.
oh yeah,
On
yeah,
the show.
yeah. As a matter of
Probably
fact,
will.
you wanna take a break right now, and we'll jump back onto this subject.
Let's do it because we're about to get real.
All right, man. So yeah, we'll take a break real quick, you guys. So like you
Real
shouldn't
life
say in a
experiences
scary
coming up.
movie. Yeah. So like you shouldn't say in a scary movie. I'll be right back. Guys, we are back now, and I am back with Jake Gucci, my boy Jacob here from the Night Lift, and we are about to get into some stories right now about ghosts and psychics. So we kind of left off a little bit talking about your family, right?
Yeah, a little bit
All
about
right.
my background.
Yep, yep, yep. So I want you to go ahead and continue off where you left off.
So as I was kind of saying, my my mom's side of the family, there's some psychic abilities amongst the women, um, and then on my grandma's side, they're very spiritual. On my dad's side, that is, they're very spiritual, and my grandparents used to perform exorcisms. So those are kind of two completely different kind of spectrums. I feel like, you know.
It really is. It's kind of like an extreme. Like you got one side that I mean, some people kind of deem as shamanism in a way, with the psychic side, whereas the other side is doing like, they're doing the most extreme Christian beliefs possible, performing exorcisms. I
Yep.
mean, how did you feel like when like you said your grandparents that right?
Yep.
Yeah, like they were performing an exorcism. Like
So I
just like
never actually seen it.
you haven't actually seen it?
I've never seen one. I've never seen an exorcism performed. Now, like in that type of situation, then my grandma passed away when I turned 21. Um, so she told me these, when I was a teenager and I was growing up. I lived with my grandma growing up as a teenager. So
Hmm.
she would tell me a lot of stories, and and actually, I think it was one of my aunts or my uncles told me that she used to do that, and I asked her about it just straight up, and she was just open, started telling me stories, and like I was asking like, how do you feel in that type of situation? Like, aren't you scared? Like you walking into a room. She was telling me, for example, this story of this little girl who was possessed by a demon, and she was also doing voodoo,
Mm.
doing like weird little rituals in a room. And her parents were were immigrant parents, so they were working in the fields, and sometimes the kids would get left home alone, and I don't know how she got into that weird stuff, the kid that is, and she got into her weird voodooism and whatever, all that stuff. Well, I don't know if that's what it's called, voodooism, but she got into voodoo, and and she had like some kind of mental things going on. It was like these demonic kind of actions. So my grandma was telling me she went into the room, and with that little girl was a little easier, was one of her easier ones, that is. And basically, her and her group, there was a group of them, they they used to speak in tongues as well. So like, my grandma wouldn't speak, but there was a lady that was always with her. So it was my grandma and her partner, basically. They were the duo. And
Okay, so they were kind of like the Conjuring in a way.
in a way, in a way, yeah, they were the duo. You know what I mean? Like, you needed help, you called them too.
Like Ed and
And
Lorraine.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. So she would tell me, that was one of the easy ones that they took a while, and sometimes it would take hours of just praying and praying. Stuff would finally clear up. But and sometimes they even said it. It's risky though, because especially with, like, I think in the Catholic Church, you have to there's steps to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just call somebody like, "Hey, what's up? I need a priest here," and boom, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? There's steps you got to take, and they're gonna assess to see if an exorcism is really needed, because it can be dangerous for the person itself too.
Oh yeah, because I've read like some reports because there's this movie I watched called Veronica, and it dealt with like a real life situation where a girl was
You know,
possessed.
I think I've seen that. It's kind of old. It's not old, but it came out a while ago, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and it deals with like a situation that happened back in Spain, and
Mm-hmm.
that this was one of the first cases where
I
like
think I did see this movie.
yeah, the death was ruled like from possession, like it was a death ruled by possession. So yeah, I did my research about some of the possessions and what have you, and like some of the exorcism do lead to death, like because it's very dangerous.
Yeah. So there was like, there's different levels to it. You know what I mean? So that girl, they felt like they just wanted to go pray for her and see what happens. They were able to help her. Um, there's another story where she said it was a lady, um, and they would like, I guess the family would tie her down to the bed because she was doing like all kinds of crazy demonic stuff, like her eyes rolling to the back of her head, and all kinds of crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and then my grandma's telling me that she went in to go start their process of and this was just to assess, not to perform the exorcism itself. This is to assess that they had she walked in, they found her strapped, she found the girl strapped down with some rope, and she literally was like, got so fucking crazy, like demonic crazy, got this strength, and like busted like one of the, she was tied up by her arms and her feet, and busted one side of the bed frame, was
oh
able to,
shit.
you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that, and then they ended up having to come back again, and they were going to perform the exorcism, and then went to go pray for her. This time, they didn't have her tied down. They had her just laying down, and they were praying for her, and in the middle of the prayer, like, she started hissing like a snake,
Mhm.
and apparently, like, her eyes kind of changed, and she literally, this is the exact words, she slithered off the bed, slithered like a snake off the bed, and started spitting at them like a cobra.
Oh shit.
Like,
Oh
what
hell
the
no.
hell no?
Yeah, I would get the fuck out.
Hell no. I am not in that room.
Oh
Now me, I
man.
didn't I didn't I didn't inherit that strength from her. So now me, I'm gone. I got scared of Exorcist movies, let alone think I'm gonna be in that room. Hell no. But you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, they were my grandparents were like really, really well known, and I don't want to say powerful, but like spiritually powerful people in their community, and just in the religious world. And the other side of my family was, they're, I don't know, sometimes I feel like they're a little bit crazy at some points. Like,
Is this the psychic one?
yeah, sometimes like, man, you guys are tripping me out. I don't know about all this. Like, I believe in weird stuff, but like, I don't know. Some of the stuff they're telling me is just out there. And
What are some of the stories that you have about them?
but like, check this out. So my grandma from that side, my mom's mom,
Hmm.
uh, she I don't know if she knows, but I like, or if she knows that I know, but I swear to God, her house is haunted, dude. And I've heard stories already, and she lives in that house to this day. So she'll probably hate to actually hear that I'm even talking about this. But like, I remember just as a kid, I never experienced anything in that house myself,
Yeah.
but so I told you how, or I mentioned how, that the women on my side over there were, or not necessarily that they're psychic either, but they have like ability, some kind of ability. So apparently, like, um, I think it was my mom said that she used to be able to, not that it would happen regularly, but like sometimes she would have a dream, and
Hmm.
that dream would actually come true. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like a premonition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way. And
Yeah, it's not much deja vu. It's like deja vu is like you have that brief moment, but she's having like full on the experience
yeah, like
with
she had a
and,
dream.
and it ends up reliving like in reality.
Yeah, for one, like this one wasn't a bad experience, but um, somebody went missing in the family for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a dream that they found the person like a couple months later, but nothing happened to the person. It's just that the person left and went to hide away because she got pregnant and was embarrassed to tell the family.
Oh.
So she had that dream, and then like just a little bit later, like a week or whatever, however long later it was, that actually happened. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So it's like, what the hell? Um, and then yeah, I hope she don't hear this, but like my grandma's house on that side, I I found out when I was young that some weird stuff had happened, and I would, and my mom is probably gonna hear this because she listens to my show, and if it gets cross promoted, she'd probably find out I've been on your show. So she'll check me. But
Well, hi, mom.
yeah. So I remember my dad told me stories about stuff that happened in the house, um and stuff that my uncle told him happened in that house. So my mom's brother had told my dad what happened. My parents had me young.
Mhm.
So my mom had me when she was 16, and my dad, they were teenagers at the time. They took my uncle my dad took my uncle to like youth groups and stuff like that because my grandparents, his parents, are these super religious people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So apparently some weird stuff was happening at my grandma's house, and it started overcoming my uncle a little bit. I was a baby, and there was a certain room that I was terrified of as a baby. So anytime they put me in the room as a baby, like I'm this infant, you know what I mean? If they put me
Yeah.
in this room, I would start crying. If they took me out, I was fine. But as soon as they put me in the room, I would cry and cry and cry and never stop until I got out of there. They say babies see that shit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and so my dad told me this story about my uncle, and so basically he was taking my uncle to these youth groups because he was acting different. Something was wrong, and then he started telling my dad that he was seeing like these spirits at night, and they were getting to him. And apparently there was two spirits in the home. One was good.
Mm.
One was good, not necessarily good, but it wouldn't mess with you. It would just watch you.
Really?
And the other one was bad. The other one was
Mm.
like it had bad intentions. So um I guess they were like, not that he would see like silhouettes or like see a ghost of a person, he'd just see black masses. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So apparently, like this, they would float above, like imagine you're sleeping in bed. You look up in the middle of the night, you just see these black masses floating on the top above your room in a circle.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So he said that there was one that would just chill. It wouldn't float in a circle like that. It would just chill wherever in the corner or wherever, and
Yeah.
it would scare him, but it would never do anything. And then it would run away, or it would just dip like out of nowhere. When that one dipped, he knew the other one was coming.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
So the one that was really like the one he had to watch out for just was like, coming a little bit later.
Yeah. So the other one was he kind of, I don't know if I'm getting the whole story right because I never asked him. He might even listen to this and maybe his story would change. I don't know. I've always wanted to ask him. I've never asked him to this day myself. And now I'm probably going to. I'm going to ask him about it. Um, and maybe I can come back and give everybody an update. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
But he might not want to even talk about it, or he might deny it. Who knows? But so apparently though, like it was affecting him in some shape or form. My dad started taking him to youth groups, noticed he was different. And one time at the youth group, they were all holding hands in a circle and they were praying. And like I guess out of nowhere, my uncle kind of like fell down to his knees, and he started like his eyes turned like bloodshot red, and he started like screaming like ah kind of thing. You know what I mean? And everybody
Yeah.
was freaking out. Everybody was freaking out. But then like he stopped and he kind of fainted, and they went to him like, "Are you okay?" And he told my dad that he felt whatever was in him leaving through his eyes, and it was burning. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
yeah,
like,
you were kind of breaking up on that last part. Can you repeat that one more time?
yeah, that after they went to check on him, like he fell down to, like he was on his knees and he kind of fainted a little bit. You know, they went to go check on him, asked him if he was okay. He said that his eyes were blood, his eyes were bloodshot red because when he fainted or when he was screaming, that he felt the whatever was in him, the spirit or whatever it was, exiting his body through his eyes and it was burning. It was hurting.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So that's why he was screaming because it was burning. It was like ah, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Damn, I
But then
cannot
after that,
imagine. Oh, go ahead.
he seemed to be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So as a kid, there'd be times I remember a couple times like I'm going to get dropped off at my with my mom, and I was at my grandma's house over there, and I remember being told like randomly like, hey, by the way, he can't stay today. Like, oh, something's happening. Like, what? And I'm being told that somebody broke into the home because like I walked up to the window and I had seen like my grandma's house was messed up inside.
yeah.
I was like, what the hell? And then my grandma told my dad that that or my mom told my dad, or I don't know who, somebody told my dad like he can't stay today, um whatever. And what I was told was that somebody broke into her house and they ransacked her house.
What really happened?
So and then I remember asking like, why, what did they take, were they looking for money or something? And apparently like I remember hearing that nothing was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the connection later on, but I I started hearing also from my dad that something happened at at um at the house with my mom. So
Oh,
I started like asking my mom, but my dad never told me what happened though. That's the thing. So I started asking my mom. He had always told me you gotta ask her. Like if she tells you, she tells you. You know what I mean? And and I would ask her and I would like throw little hints and whatever. She would never like kind of budge. And then I finally like told my dad like a little bit later on, like, hey, something's happening. And he probably forgot because I was young when I was asking him all these questions too. And I asked him a few years later, and then he told me something about it. He mentioned a Ouija board, but he
oh
didn't tell
my
me what
God, the
happened. He was like,
dreaded Ouija board.
but he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me what happened though. He didn't tell me what happened. So, and I was like, oh no, I made the connect. Like something happened because of a Ouija board in there. So I was like, and it has to do with my mom. Boom. So then I go and I'm like, I asked something to, and every time I brought it up, I tried to bring it up like nonchalantly. You know what I mean? Like I don't try to just bring it up randomly. Like, hey mom, what about this ghost thing? You know what I mean? Like I try to find a way to ease it in there so that because she hated when I brought it up. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it, but somehow I mentioned like, yeah, I know something. I just straight up told her. My dad already told me this. I don't know what. He told me I have to ask you. Just tell me. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. Just tell me what happened. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're
I
being
want
like
to
a
know.
nosy little kid, you know?
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'm already a teenager. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want to tell me stuff for a long time, but I've come to find out, my mom was trying to scare her friend, and they were playing with the Ouija board, and it scared her too. And they all got scared by messing with it, and they just ran away. You know, you're supposed to like kind of close them and whatever. You know, close the circle, or
Yeah,
whatever. When you do Ouija board.
yeah, yeah. You're supposed to
I don't know what
close
happened.
it and say bye to the spirit, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened, but they got scared. You know,
Mm,
and I don't know if it properly closed or what happened, or and they still don't want to tell me full story of how it got, if it got like how they disposed of the Ouija board or everything, like, you know what I mean? But it's just like ever since then, apparently that's when something started happening at the house. You know what I
oh
mean?
man.
So that's when the stuff happened with my uncle. And then with that robbery thing, it wasn't a robbery because what would happen is in the middle of the night, everything in my grandma's house would get thrown out of the cabinets and in the middle of the kitchen, in the living room, all the stuff would get thrown in the middle of the living room. And it was like because of the demon or whatever it was that we got let in. It was doing
Yeah.
stuff in the house. It was a poltergeist, bro, is what it was.
Yeah. Oh, it was straight poltergeist, man. Like when you mess with those Ouija boards, man, that's not the move. You know, you better know what
No,
you're
no.
doing.
Yeah, man. So like don't play with Ouija boards, people. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm
going
telling you.
going back to the movie I was talking about, with the real story. That actually how the girl ended up getting possessed too. She was playing with the Ouija board because she wanted to talk to the spirit of her dead boyfriend who died in a motorcycle accident. And instead of getting him, she got something
Something else.
else. Yeah. And because she didn't close out the gate, she ended up getting possessed. She started like changing and started acting different. And sure enough, like it got to the point where like she was just terrorizing the household and just strange phenomenons were starting to happen in the household. So yeah, you telling the story, I mean, yeah, you should not be playing with this shit. I mean, everybody kind of like, well, I know for like a lot of kids, they take this shit as a joke. It's crazy when you think about it. Do you
Bro, I
remember
went
when
to
we were
Toys R
young?
Us. I went to Toys R Us. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I went to Toys R Us, and the Ouija board movies came out. You know how much they were selling Ouija boards?
How much?
$5, bro.
Yeah, that was what I was about to
$5.
make. Like I was about to say, remember how easy it is to buy a Ouija board in Toys R
$5.
Us?
Like, what?
Man, they were easy to buy, man.
Like, man, what? You're gonna charge $5 to a kid and give them the power to talk to dude, for $5?
For $5,
Man,
man, that shit is so crazy, man.
I don't know who even figured that shit out, but like that's nothing to joke with, man. I'm dead serious. Like, you know what I mean? I told you I believe in like the real stuff, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of stuff I like watching. And again, I've never had a ghost experience, but like I believe in like there's energies, and I do believe in demons, bro. Like how
Yeah.
could you not? You know what I mean? And there's a lot of like demonic shit out there, and people practice Satanism. You know what I mean? People
Oh
practice that.
yeah.
That shit's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Like
There's people that go to a church of Satan, man. I
there's
mean,
real shit. There's people, and there's people who do weird things. There's real culty stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? People practice real stuff like that, and it's a trip. Like it's around us. You wouldn't even know it, man.
oh yeah, man. I
You wouldn't
mean,
know it. There's a lot of different. There's a Masonic temple just right here. I'm sure you got about a lot of
oh, we
Masonic stuff
got
out there too. You know what I mean?
we
Like,
more than likely do. I mean, I know I've run into like a lot of Scientology places, even though they're not the same thing, but it's like people like to speculate, with Scientology being like witchcraft or like just demonic shit and all that,
yeah,
you
but there's
know.
a lot of culty type stuff, and like, obviously we're not allowed. If you're not in, you don't know a lot about the Masons. But I mean, if whatever you think you don't, honestly. But
Oh yeah, man. But yeah, all right, man. So we are definitely going to take another break, man. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna jump into the outro, man. All I gotta say, man, like I really do appreciate you coming on to the show. I love these stories, man. Kind of like doing some real change of pace kind of things for the show, man. I'm
yeah,
like how you're trying to do different things with your show. I'm trying to like always reinvent my show too, man. You know.
yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take another break. So we'll be right back with the outro, people. All right, everyone, and we are back. We are in the outro right now. And as you guys know, I usually do like a must-watch Tubi movie of the week. But this time, since we got a guest on here, whenever I have my guests on the show, I have my guests kind of give you guys a few suggestions of their own. Usually horror related, sometimes they're not, but it's all about like good movies, you guys. If my guests got good movies out there you guys should check out, you should definitely check them out. If there's shows they want you to check out, definitely check out the shows. So Jacob, what you got for us today?
Man, I'm a little bit old school when it comes to some of like myself, and I told you I like horror movies, but I'm really into kind of more real life type of situations and real life type of things that could happen. You know what I mean? I like thrillers. So a suggestion, I'm gonna go a little bit old school here, and one of my favorites right here is not necessarily too like jump out type of scary movie, but you remember the movie Hannibal?
I do remember the movie Hannibal. Yep.
Hannibal was one of my favorites back in the day. Like that was a creepy one, and then you could follow that up with Red Dragon. Like
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, those are some crazy films right there.
Yeah.
Um,
But are you talking about, because Hannibal was the prequel, but are you talking about the Silence of the Lamb movie, the
and and
original?
and I was gonna say, and like started from Silence of the Lambs, and they're all kind of connected. So,
Yep.
um,
Oh yeah, it's the story of Hannibal Lecter, man. I'm
yeah, like
definitely trying to watch that Red Dragon movie. It's on
it's
Netflix right now, man.
and yeah, I saw it on the other day, and I was like, damn, I haven't watched this movie in so long. Like, I'm gonna watch it again, um, and I kind of want to watch them, all in order again, just to kind of get that whole feel of that of those. But those are some of my favorites back in the day. Silence of the Lambs that was a scary movie though. It was like
It was kind of like a creepy movie.
it was
I thought it
creepy.
was.
Like to me though, like those type of things that like mentally type of things that those get me more. You know what I mean? Like the jump out
Yeah.
kind of scary, like oh shit, they're cool, whatever. But when you leave, like it's not the same effect as like the thriller type of movies. Those things got you tripping on the way to your car and on the drive home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
From
because you're
you know what I
sitting
mean?
there like this shit could actually happen,
You know what I
like in
mean?
so
Yeah,
many ways.
yeah.
Yeah. What other movies do you have for us?
What about I think this is another little thriller. I don't want to say it's necessarily horror, but you ever heard of the movie Gerald's Game?
Yes, yes, I actually watched that maybe last year, and that was a really crazy movie. I like that
Yeah,
movie.
it's pretty cool. I like that one. That was a good one too. I watched that I don't know how long ago, but that was a pretty good one too. And
Just the little sex game that they try and do. Well, it's not even like she wanted to do it; he wanted to do it, and I was just
yeah,
like, "The fuck!"
it
Like,
got intense. And you're like, what the hell? What kind? You weren't sure what direction it was gonna go, and it just like
oh yeah. I kind of thought the ending though, like it was kind
yeah,
of weird, you know. Like, and I don't want to spoil the ending for anybody that hasn't watched it, but the ending was kind of weird for me.
yeah, I can agree with that. It was a little weird, but overall though, I thought it was a cool movie.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool movie, which is also on Netflix. By the way, you guys could check that one out for sure. I mean, if anything, you guys should definitely check that one out if you haven't watched
Yeah,
it yet.
but I watch a lot of shows like the ghost adventure type shows, and some of that you take to heart. You take it with a grain of salt. I should say not to heart, but you take it with a grain of salt. Like, obviously in those type of shows they can alter things to make things look different or whatever. Who knows? I
Yeah.
don't know how authentic that it really and truly is. Um, but it's just those are like if you watch some of them, there's like I think it's on what is it? Amazon Prime. There
Okay.
if you have that one, there's like a quarantine edition when the pandemic first started. The host, his name is Zach Baggins or Zach something, I can't remember what. Zach is his first name, that's what I remember. But he's gotten pretty famous and now he has a museum on Las Vegas off the strip somewhere. Then he housed like a bunch of artifacts, like haunted artifacts, from his studies just over the years, and it's a creepy ass museum. But like I guess during the quarantine, a lot of stuff started happening. So that was kind of crazy, and like some like slightly demonic type possession-y type of stuff happens in there, and I think a lot of people expect or don't really expect um or I guess when they see kind of demonic possessions, they don't really understand like how it actually happens. But a lot of times it's kind of like it's not like something's just gonna pop at you and scare you. You know what I mean? What it does,
Yeah.
it alters your mind. You might
Mm,
feel the energy around you, but
yeah.
it alters your mindset. You're not gonna like see this fucking red demon with a pitchfork and fucking, you know what I mean? No, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna
Yeah.
see shit. What you're gonna do is you're gonna feel this presence. you might it might reveal itself to you in some shape or form, but the
Hmm.
energy is gonna hit you more than anything, and that's gonna just take over your body and change your mind, and it fucks with you like that. So that's
Yeah.
why, like, to me, thrillers just kind of make you feel like a way of something real, like of how it could happen. You know what I mean? If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, speaking of things popping up at you, have you ever seen that movie La Llorona or even believed in La Llorona at all?
Bro, I'm Mexican. You know we believe in La Llorona. Let me tell you something, man. That story was invented for kids to get their ass home. That was it. That's how that story got invented. You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
Mexican lady wanted her damn kids to get home because they're out there partying or whatever to and said, if you don't come home, La Llorona's gonna get you. Who's La Llorona? It's the crazy lady who drowned her kids. So get home. You know, that's how La Llorona started. And it turned into some crazy, boom.
Yeah,
But
crazy folk tale. But I seen the movie recently and I thought it was the most trashiest movie ever that
you know
Hollywood could have
what?
ever did.
It's on Netflix or something, I think. And I was going through it and I almost pressed play. And then I think like a day or two later, I saw you tweet something out about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't press play.
Yeah, this like, and I'm actually really surprised because it's by James Wan, who is, involved with like the Conjuring movies and with Saw movies too. And he produced this movie. And I'm just like, how you go from Saw and Conjuring, which I mean, I love Saw. I'm okay with Conjuring, but not a big fan of it. And the offshoot movies, I really don't care about. I don't care about Annabelle, even though that doll in real life, that's a crazy doll.
Oh yeah,
Like that's one doll I would not want to fuck with
that's
at
crazy. Bro.
all.
And in the movie, they don't make it look at all what it really looks like.
Oh no, no. When I saw the actual doll, I'm looking at it like, wait, but I could see many girls wanting to play with that doll. I don't see
It's
many
a
people wanting to play
That
with
was
the
a
one in the
popular
movie.
doll. That was a popular doll in like what the 50s or something, whatever years it was. The
Yeah,
Raggedy Ann dolls. Look that up if y'all don't know what that is. Look at a Raggedy Ann doll. That's what the Annabelle doll really looks like.
yeah, yeah. That's really all it is. And to me, I'm just like, the Hollywood really try and make that doll as creepy as possible.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
Hollywood, man. It's Hollywood.
it is, it is, and brings me back to the point about La Llorona. There was way too many fucking jump scares in that film to where like the movie wasn't even scary. It wasn't even like really watchable because the plot was bad and just the acting was like okay, but the plot was bad, the story was bad, and just La Llorona herself was not even scary, and it was just way too many jump scares happening in that film to where I was just like, why is this shit so corny?
I kind of felt that way about The Nun.
Oh yeah, that one was terrible too. I heard a lot of people hated that film.
It was all right. It wasn't it wasn't a bad movie, but I mean, it was just kind of whatever to me, and I felt like it focused a lot on the jump scare. Um, I actually watched it in I think it was technically like a 4D theater where I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but basically like you're watching the screen, but you can see along the sides like there's projections on the sides of the walls as well, so you can
Oh,
see.
that's pretty
Imagine if
dope.
you're looking down a hall. So like in
Mm-hmm.
the movie The Nun, there's a scene where they're looking down this hall and there's like candle lit, right? So, but
Mm-hmm.
if you look to your left on the in the theater on the wall, it looks like you're in the hall because there's a candle like right here. You know what I mean? There's a part where the nun gets closer to you, and all the candles start turning off, and it feels like it's getting fucking close to you. So it's like, oh shit! So I had like a different experience when I watched it. It was a little fun, but overall, if I would watch it just normal, it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, I feel like if you're watching it in that kind of experience, it will definitely like give you a different perspective about that movie. Because I think
Yeah,
honestly, if I watched that movie in that kind of perspective, yeah, I probably would think a lot different. Me personally, I haven't seen The Nun.
it just makes the jump scares like more effective. You know what I mean? And it makes it a little more
Yeah,
like, oh shit, you feel like you're in the movie, so it makes it a little more intense and a
but see,
little
that's
bit
the
more scary.
problem. But see, that's the problem. Like movies like that, they're only good for like being in theaters. You know?
Exactly my point. So that's why when I seen it regularly, it's just like, it's whatever.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't even want to watch that film because I know I'm gonna look at it and I'm just gonna be like, this movie is trash. Why am I watching this to begin with?
Am I correct? Does that one, is that supposed to be like the prequel of how The Conjuring kind of got
It's
into? Didn't it? Remember the end?
it's
I don't want
supposed to be the start
to
of Annabelle, I believe.
or Annabelle, right? Or
Yeah, it's supposed to be the start of
which one.
Annabelle.
I can't
Yeah,
remember which one, but that's supposed to be how it came from that church or wherever. I can't even remember what the fuck it was now.
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, it's not worth remembering.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, all I gotta say, man, thanks for coming to the show, man. Everybody,
Hey, bro.
again, you know, at the Night Live, this is my boy Jacob, aka Jay Gucci. You can find him anywhere on Instagram, Twitter, at
Yeah.
Jake. At I was about to say at Jacob. At the Night
Follow
Live.
me on Instagram at the Night Live Podcast. If you want to check out the show, you can also follow me on my personal page at Gucci21. You can follow me on Twitter at the Night Live, and follow my YouTube channel, the Night Live Podcast. I'm going to be posting season 1 videos upcoming in the next couple weeks, and we're starting off with season 2 as well.
Yep. And as you guys know, your boy Walter Doom is on everything. You know, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. You know, Instagram is at Walter Doom, whereas everything else is at Walter Doom. And if you follow me on Twitter, as you guys should know by now, I am at Walter Doom 1 because some asshole took Walter Doom. Man,
Right.
that ain't right. That's always going to be a thing on this show. But other than that, I am going to sign out. This has been another episode of Let's Talk About Horror, and we will see you again for another week. This is America. Don't let them catch you slipping now. Peace.
Love.